Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. It's the live coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft. We're in the middle of the first round right now. Got my buddy Landon on from the Lando show representing, and we have a Eagles fan, friend of the NFC East, Chris Wilson in here reacting live. A lot of news happening real time, so we're just going to be reacting real time. We're trying to sync this up as best we can. As of the beginning of this live, Kenny Pickett has just been selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers, so he is staying in the city of Pittsburgh, which is very, very interesting. A lot of people have Malik Willis going there. But we're just going to be reacting and vibing and watching the draft along with everybody else. Y'all know what it is when you come in my live streams. Hit the like button. That is attendance. If you are not subscribed, subscribe, support the movement. Hitting the subscribe button is free. So let's get after it and show some support and some love. Also, shout out to our sponsor, BUSR. BUSR, the official sportsbook, the official betting partner of Fanatic Perspective. Hit up busr.com/fanatic. I actually took the Philadelphia 76ers tonight over Toronto on BUSR, so we won some money.
Hell yeah. Chris will like that
right
one.
There. Smart man. I was pissed for losing game 5 and making me split attention, man, but they took care of business a little early tonight, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, they did. They got them up out of there, so on to the next one.
On to the next one.
Doesn't have to worry about another choke.
We ain't got to worry.
Speaking of which, Steven got to deal with a Mavs fan and an Eagles fan in the same chat. So if anybody's out there that can keep me updated on what the Mavs are doing right now, feel free to put that in the chat too.
Oh, Chiefs coming up, huh?
Yep.
Hey, I got some folks in here on the live, so that want to chat with us. So I'm gonna overlay the chat. Please y'all participate. Victor Santiago, I see you in here. Ashley Larry, I see you in here as well. The Stingley pick by the Houston Texans at 3. Ashley Larry, what a pick right off the bat. Those of us who saw Derek Stingley play football in 2019, we know he was an incredible player for the LSU Tigers as they won the national championship. And he's been waiting to get drafted ever since. And that has shown on his film.
Right.
which was the concern for everybody. But Houston said, bump that. We've seen enough.
Yeah.
We've seen enough. What are y'all's thoughts there? Was that where things turned in this draft so far? Or?
With the Stingley pick? I don't know, man. I was surprised. I wasn't surprised by that. I actually told Chris we were talking. I see Gabe with the Fly Eagles Fly comment right there. When is the first
What's up, Gabe G?
Yeah, it's
talk to me, Gabe.
Is he an Eagles fan, Steven? Do you know?
Shout out to Gabe G. I don't know if he's a legit Eagles. You saying if he's a legit Eagles fan?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know.
Saying
Gabe
Stingley
G.
Injury prone. That's the thing, though, man. I talked to Chris.
That's one of Chris's people.
Yeah, that's one of Chris's people right there.
They've infiltrated the chat already.
He would have
We
been
flying packs, baby.
Y'all think Stingley would have been a top 5 pick his freshman year too, right? I mean, that's kind of where I was at. That's where I wasn't shocked with.
For sure.
With him going that high at all. Maybe the location, it was kind of a surprise, but
that's kind of the way it started to trend. There was a lot of Houston's doing all the homework in the world on Stingley.
Yeah. And this is where it's interesting to me too, because the Chiefs, we know they need a receiver. Or at least that's what we think. But there's already been 6 receivers off the board taken. So are they after Treylon Burks? Are they because
Burks went to Tennessee at 18, right?
Shoot, that's right. I just had a brain fart. Yep.
I mean, who's next? Is Pickens the next best receiver?
George Pickens would be next, or Sky Moore.
Yeah, it would be Pickens or Sky Moore.
Oh,
Trent McDuffie. Okay, that's a surprise.
Interesting.
So they still kept pick number, what is that, 30?
Yeah, 30. Yeah, looks like it.
So they moved up 8 spots. What's the compensation? That's the next thing I would ask.
Yeah, we always got to wait on that.
8 spots to go from 29 to 21. It's probably a 3.
Maybe
a 3 and a 4, maybe. I mean, it's just weird because the compensation has been less than it otherwise would have been in other years with a more quarterback dominant class.
Nick
it's interesting to me.
Linderbaum for Dallas.
That's what you think, Steve?
He is still on the board.
That's the pick I would be most excited with, but I can see this completely being a linebacker here too.
That McDuffie pick's interesting, considering that they traded with New England right there. McDuffie to me kind of screams New England Patriot, right? Mm-hmm. Not really deficient in any area other than size. You can move him all over the secondaries. That's kind of ironic that the partner right there would have been the Patriots, seeing as how he feels like a Patriot.
Yeah,
it's interesting right there.
Especially, they lost J.C. Jackson too. He's a Charger, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we got to wonder if Green Bay forces a receiver right here too. Yeah, I didn't even think about Linderbaum still being on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to get to, with Dallas at 24. This is typically the range of those kind of high-end centers. It's kind of where they go, right? Back of the first, top of the second, I think.
Yeah. Steven, we see Jordan Davis and Kayvon Thibodeaux both entering the NFC East right now, man. I mean, it's like offensive line was already a need, but now it feels
and
like
Evan Neal.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it feels like the Cowboys now, that position is kind of barking at them a little bit harder. So I don't know if
they Tyler Smith, people have been throwing that name out there.
I've seen that a little bit.
Yeah.
We know a lot of folks have him more in the second round range, the second round grade on Tyler Smith from Tulsa, but his versatility to play tackle and guard could potentially be appealing to the Cowboys in conjunction with his run blocking capabilities. So
he's just raw, man. He's a great athlete.
Very raw.
He's just so raw. That's
Did they turn over the coaching staff in the O-line room, or are you guys running that back? I forget.
Yeah, Joe Philbin's still there.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to see, how much on the dark side Connor Williams became as far as Cowboys fans go. It's interesting to see a guy like Tyler Smith, who, like you guys said, he's not very polished right now. He held a lot in college, so that I don't know.
He was one of the most penalized offensive linemen.
Right. So if you're not confident in your development inside that room, that to me doesn't really make a lot of sense personally.
Right. And the technique just he's raw, man. He's new to the position. He's just kind of out athleting people over there. Yeah. So that's where he's come from.
I don't know if y'all watched this combine, but he was straight up on so many of his drills.
Oh, yeah.
He really couldn't even run the drills correctly.
Yep.
The
lot of stuff in his body, but
the issue here for the Cowboys, though, is, personally, I thought Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green would be on the board for you.
You and me both.
Yeah,
you and me
both gone. I didn't see Kenyon Green.
Kenyon Green at Houston kind of flipped some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I see Jim in the chat. What's up, Jim?
And Buffalo, somebody to pay attention to as well. Okay, so the Packers have gone Quay Walker from Georgia.
Okay. Wouldn't have guessed him being the first linebacker off the board either.
So Quay Walker goes before Nakobe Dean.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. All right, so this is crazy, y'all. I did not expect this.
Yeah.
And if you're drafting based on need, and then you factor in what the rest of the division has done thus far, I would love if they plugged Tyler Linderbaum in that center spot here, but
yep. As an Eagles fan, I hope you guys don't.
I don't have a feel now. I do not.
I mean, the thing with Linderbaum is you're moving off Biotish and you still have a hole at guard. You still need another tackle.
Yeah.
Okay, so Buffalo.
But you get an upgrade at center.
Okay, now Buffalo just trades up.
So Buffalo just trades up to get in front of Dallas, right? So what?
Yes.
What is it that?
What does that signify?
Right.
What is
the Buffalo need that coincides with Dallas's need?
Bro, nobody gets traded up on in front of at the last minute
more than Dallas.
Like Dallas. Every year, bro, somebody just jumps in front of Dallas.
It does feel like that.
Man, Baltimore's got jumped twice now.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I love Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, Baltimore traded back. My fault. I forgot Baltimore Buffalo was one pick behind you guys, right? They were at 25.
They were 25.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
what is the need that Dallas and Buffalo share?
The next out. So you know how Breece Hall was kind of linked to the Bills all along, but I'd seen a lot of offensive line there as well.
I've seen a lot of offensive line.
Yeah. So this might be
Buffalo as well.
This might be a Linderbaum situation here, unless they want another tackle, man, and it's Tyler Smith. I don't know. I'm kind of shook right now, to be honest with you.
I mean, you still have edge guys if you're Dallas.
I mean,
you go that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo also signed Mitch Morse to an extension like a month or so ago. They're center, so to me that would probably rule out Linderbaum in my mind.
Yeah,
you just extended a center.
Yeah, see, I gotta get all these rosters in front of me too. I'm just kind of like thinking off top right now.
Unless they go linebacker here.
So they just.
I am starting to think maybe linebacker to Dallas might be what this looks like.
Man, this trade, they always make the drama crazy for the Cowboys. We don't just get to roll up and pick.
There's always some chaos that ensues right before we're on the clock.
I've seen a bunch of people pinning a center to Baltimore too, so it's interesting that they would have been content trading behind Dallas. If that is in fact who they're going after.
The Bills just flopped with the Ravens, right?
Right. Yeah, Baltimore, it's a 25. Man, what a day in Philly sports, y'all. This one's right up there, yo. In totality. What a first round, man. Leave it to Howie to spice stuff up, man. That questionable status on A.J. Brown is going to be a pain in my ass every week, but it's all good. As long as he's out there, we're all right.
Yeah, he's going to have like a hamstring cue.
All year. Yeah.
All year long.
Yep.
It's quarterback friendly, though.
But I was about to say, I love the fit for Jalen Hurts.
And they're best friends in real life, so that's got to be pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. How cool is that, too, though? I hadn't heard anyone mention the Hollywood Brown trade. As much as I despise Kyler Murray, despise is probably strong. I have some strong feelings towards Kyler Murray's I don't know, just the way that it feels like he kind of breaks down on the field at times. He visibly displays his displeasure with what's happening,
Right.
Quarterback position.
I think you guys are
comparing though.
You guys are going Jermaine Johnson. I just realized he's still on the board.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, how has he slid this far too? He's a top 10 lock for a lot of these so-called experts, man. Like, but Jerry's again. Jerry and Steven are so proud of how they added 2 defensive ends in place of Randy Gregory, the Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler. We're so proud of that. So I don't know.
We're good. They offset.
I mean, Jermaine Johnson, as far as the talent is concerned, he would be the top graded player I have left on the board. I don't know about
what a crazy scenario. Steam really picked up for him going potentially, like we talked about earlier, 4 to the Jets, and now the guy's sitting here at 23 still on the board.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Jim saying Kyer Elam.
I was going to throw corner in the mix. It's really hard to tell where these guys have them on their boards after the big 2 or even 3, really.
Look at that war room, man. That's the dream.
That would be awesome. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in there.
Just to be a fly on the wall.
I mean, if they don't want to make it messy, I think you go Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah,
that is a need.
Yep, I
think between him or Linderbaum.
Yeah,
whether that both fill a need for you.
Yeah, and I would prioritize edge over center personally. So really kind of fit
the positional value tells you the edge is the move.
Edge over center as well.
Yeah,
that's the whole position. Positional value or the need versus best player available discussion. Yep. This is crazy, man. It's
been a lot of trades, no?
A lot to process with these trades.
A lot of trades this year.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get over the Saints giving up a 1, a 2, 2 threes, and a 4 to draft Chris Olave. Like they're in win now mode with James Winston.
That's crazy. There's Kyer Elam.
Okay. So,
yeah, he was. I look at mocks like right after this one ends for the next year. This guy was top 10 in a bunch before the start of the year. But he clearly got some freaky traits.
Yep, he's sticky.
Is Karlaftis an option here?
Yeah, Karlaftis. He's the real deal, man. I love the player. I just not a pre-draft 30 visit. So, or was he? He wasn't.
Can you check that? I personally would lean Jermaine. And chat, be careful because we had to slow it down.
Yeah, don't spoil it, please.
So please try not to spoil it for us.
Who's it gonna be, boys? Jermaine
Johnson turned in the card.
Yeah, that's who I would take probably. I don't know, man.
Get the edge. You know who I'm taking in the second round, Landon.
Who's that?
If he's there.
Sky Moore?
At this point, it's probably not realistic, but I'm still, I've been the head of the George Pickens fan club for over 3 years now.
Okay.
At the way the receivers are going, I don't see him being there.
Here I just talked myself out of linebacker, knowing how strongly they think, based on the way the whole Bobby Wagner situation unfolded, Jaron Kearse was a huge factor in that decision to not sign Bobby Wagner. So they feel comfortable with where they're at the depth spot. And they obviously think highly of Jabril Cox. But to me, that's still a rookie coming off of a knee injury. The depth there is lacking, especially if you still consider Micah Parsons a predominantly an edge rusher.
I would be shocked if this was not Jermaine Johnson.
It's going to be Jermaine Johnson, the more I think about it. They don't look thrilled, though, do they?
There's some chaos.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to take one of the you got to have real balls to – I think you wait on a guy like Tyler Smith at this point.
Me too. 100%.
I don't think you do that here.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if it is Tyler Smith. Like if they try to force a position, you know what I mean?
Nah, because they did that with Taco, and we saw how that worked.
It doesn't work. They did the same. They did the same thing. They did the same thing with the defensive tackle out of. God, my head is spinning, y'all.
Talking about Tristan Hill.
Out here, Tristan Hill.
One guy we haven't mentioned, but if they took him, but he doesn't. He also doesn't fit the profile of what they like with middle linebackers. If they got up there and took Nakobe Dean, I'm not mad at you.
Nah, you saw what Brian Broaddus said on Twitter? Steve?
You said what Brian Broaddus said? No, I didn't see what Brian Broaddus said.
Yeah, he said he's talked to a lot of people that are inside the Cowboys war room that feel very strongly about Nakobe Dean. That's what they said. I would love that pick, personally.
Yeah, if they did that, sign me up. because I love him as a football player. He's one of my favorite players in college football. Him, Kyle Hamilton, George Pickens.
Because remember, right around like December, he was linked to Dallas. Like that was kind of like a name that we had heard thrown around there, you know.
So you guys are tuning in here for a live reaction. While you're here, if you're in the chat, hit that like button. Make sure you show us some love. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Lando Show on YouTube. Grow on the following. Follow Chris Wilson at Chris Wilson 23 on Twitter. At Chris Wilson 23 on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll speak for Chris. He's he is a rival fan base, obviously, but one of the more well-informed just football fans that I've ever been around. So definitely
I'm a fellow junkie. I appreciate
you. Follow for you guys out there who don't know who Chris is. He's a well-respected Philly fan, in my opinion.
I'm going to stop the chat overlay just so I don't see it.
I'm trying to keep my eyes on the top right.
Yeah, just in case y'all cheat. So I'm going to stop the chat overlay.
Yeah. I'm nervous, man. I'm nervous for this one.
Man,
football players on the board.
I'm feeling good, y'all. Let's see where you guys go right here. I'm feeling great today.
NFC East got better this draft already.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
The NFC East has made some
moves. NFC East got better already.
I just can't believe that's 2 consecutive years where I suppose Jamar Chase was my preferred target, but realistic target. That's 2 straight years where we got my guy at least.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Rarely does that happen, I feel like.
Yeah, you were big on Devontae Smith last year. Yeah, that whole Amari Cooper trade thing too, Steve, after seeing what Hollywood Brown netted the Ravens, a first-round pick, like Amari Cooper nets you a 5. It's kind of embarrassing.
I mean,
so we got Goodell.
I mean, A.J. Brown as well, right?
Same thing, yeah.
Like, it's 25 a year, and they got a 1 and a 3 for – I know he's 24. He's a little bit younger than Amari, but –
here's the pick. Wow.
Maybe George Karlaftis. I'm still behind, so hold on.
Yeah, same.
Wow.
I'm curious, man.
Steven's reaction tells me Tyler Smith.
Wow.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow.
They forced the pick, boys.
They went need.
They forced the need.
Straight
freak
need.
athlete.
Great interview. Great on the microphone.
Great
if you guys have ever heard Tyler Smith speak on the microphone, he's fantastic. But this, he's very, very raw.
How funny is that? They're just looking ahead here. One T. Smith potentially being replaced by another T. Smith. You can't make this up, man.
They wanted versatility. That's why Kenyon Green was mocked to the Cowboys for so long, and other guys, factoring in Tyron's. Somebody always said, so how long is Tyron going to be out between, what are we going to do when he's out between Halloween and Thanksgiving, and things of that sort. They're not sold on Terrence Steele, and they have a need at left guard. And that's a position where you really didn't, force Aleo Collins there before when he came in originally. So now you have that guy. But he's more raw than Leal was coming out of LSU, in my opinion.
Agreed. And Steve, I just wanted to ask, do you think with their decision to let Leal walk as a June 1 cut, you think they aren't sold on Terrence Steele?
Not completely.
This
is we'll have Terrence Steele as our right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Tyler Smith as our left guard, and we'll monitor the situation. Very similar. I don't know if you remember when we had Doug Free at left tackle, and they drafted Tyron Smith out of USC, and they put Tyron at right tackle to monitor Doug Free before the following year Doug Free left. They moved Tyron over to left tackle.
And didn't Lyle Collins play guard his first year too, if I'm remembering correctly?
Yes, he played guard his first year, and then they moved him to to right tackle.
To right tackle, yeah. This is crazy, man. I didn't expect it, you know.
I mean,
and I get that Terrence Steele made a jump from year 1 to year 2. I get that. He improved significantly. And I know there's people out there. I know somebody's going to chime in the comments of the chat. Cowboys were undefeated when Terrence Steele started last year.
Yeah.
Cowboys
I'm with you.
The game with Terrence Steele as a starter. But he's I mean, what's the ceiling on that is my question. What's the ceiling on that?
No. Well, Case asked if I'm happy with the pick, boys. What do you guys think? Am I happy or no?
It's funny, man. I'm
probably feels forced. He's very raw at that position. So,
I mean, I've also seen.
Yeah, exactly. It's no CD Lamb reaction from 2 years ago that I got.
Yeah, thank God, because I ain't got to react how I did either now.
How the turntables. I agree with you, Jim. By the way, I just kind of where I'm at too, man. But again, we'll see, man. We don't know. It's 4 months, 5 months from now, and when we're sitting at week 6. This could look like a great pick. Just like not every Cowboys fan was sold on Micah Parsons a year ago. We were all banging the table for Rashawn Slater. So who knows what we get. But I will say I'm a little bit concerned right now.
Hey, Rashawn Slater was all pro though.
Yeah, no, he was.
Just it's not like he was bad.
Yeah. This is crazy.
It's it is crazy. And the rest of this draft is so critical for the Cowboys because that second pick almost has to be a receiver at this point.
Got to be. Yeah.
And
we know they brought in 4 tight ends pre-draft, so they're going to take one of those. Probably
they're going to take a tight end. They're going to take a running back.
Yeah. You think they'll take a running back though?
I think they'll take a running back.
On day 3?
I think Hassan Haskins, somebody like that could be in the mix. So Jim brought up an interesting one, and I've held this position till this day. They did reach for Travis Frederick at the time. I remember they reached so badly for Travis Frederick, they didn't have highlights of him when we drafted him. That's how you know you reach for somebody.
Yeah.
When they don't even have the highlights ready to go because they're like, oh, we thought this was a, late day 2 guy. And he is right. It ended up working out great for the Cowboys. I personally, if I could do that draft over again, I still would have taken what's his name, the safety from LSU in the first round.
From what year? 2000 was Travis Frederick the 2013?
Right Eric Reed.
Eric Reed, yeah.
I still would have taken Eric Reed in the first round and drafted I still think I could have got Travis Frederick in the second round. Me personally. Because what ended up happening is, yes, we did draft Travis Frederick in the first round, but that second round pick was a bust because we drafted the tight end from San Diego State who did nothing. Big boy, Gavin Escobar.
Yeah.
Gavin.
That's right.
I personally believe you could have got Travis Frederick where you drafted Gavin Escobar and then just got another first rounder. That's just to me, that's the difference between having a good draft and a great draft.
Yeah.
But it's woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right. Because, obviously hindsight's 20/20, right? You've got 31 teams picking in between you. You never really know if they're going to quite make it back to you. And I feel like I can speak on maybe the Tyler Smith pick a little bit. It kind of feels like when Philly traded up to take Andre Dillard. The big difference is, I would say, is Dillard was touted as the best pass blocking left tackle in the entire draft.
Yeah.
Whereas Tyler Smith feels a little bit more project-y, but they needed to put a ton of weight on Dillard. They knew he didn't have the play strength because he played in Mike Leach's
air raid. Mike Leach air raid.
Yeah, he played, and so was Charles Cross. Similarly this year, he's not known for his run blocking. He's a little bit light, but Dillard didn't have the play strength. And we had a left tackle entrenched in Jason Peters at the time already. So it's hard to stomach as a fan drafting a guy who essentially is probably going to redshirt.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like maybe in Tyler Smith's scenario, he's got a little bit of versatility. Like you mentioned, he could play some guard.
Yeah, he definitely can.
But I will say, man, similarly to Dillard, well, it turned out to be my Lotta, right? Learning from Jason Peters. Tyron Smith ain't the worst guy in the world to learn from if you're Tyler Smith.
No question.
So it's just kind of one of those where you've unfortunately got to be a little bit more patient than the fan would like to be on draft day. But
and Steven said it too. Something I think is very important, Chris, is he seems to be wired the right way. Just judging off of his interviews and the way that he presents himself, man. I love the character.
And his
interview was phenomenal.
Yeah. And that's the stuff we can't figure out as much as fans. We're not talking to the prospects.
Exactly.
If you guys want to see a good Tyler Smith clip, go YouTube Tyler Smith and Chris Sims.
Wow, there's Linderbaum.
I think at the draft.
Go ahead. I'll hold it.
So Linderbaum goes to the Titans. What a Titans pick.
Okay.
The guy just smells like a Tennessee Titan.
I think he went to Baltimore, yeah?
What do you think?
Am I seeing that right?
Oh, he went to Baltimore?
I think he's a Raven,
even better.
Yep, I'd seen him link to Baltimore.
Right, on the board.
Like I said, I had seen Linderbaum linked to Baltimore a ton, which is why I'm surprised they traded behind Dallas.
I know. Yeah, so that's what I was going to say, man. But
they those teams like Baltimore and
they miss.
That's Linderbaum for you.
Yeah.
Good for him, man. That's a great player. It's a great player.
Yeah, that's a stud right there.
He's going to be phenomenal in Baltimore.
It's not sexy.
One thing I like about Baltimore is the guys that are elite in college typically, regardless of their doubts that you have about them, they develop those guys in Baltimore, man. I mean, you look at Lamar and you look at, what they got. Now they got Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum coming in.
That's a hell of a draft right there.
Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, all these guys that they've picked over the years that are just productive football. Like they look like how they looked in college.
Yeah.
They're good at that because some teams draft people and then they change their bodies and do all sorts of weird stuff, and you're like, who the hell is that?
Yep. Look at this guy's draft score. I've heard a lot of he's undersized, he lacks length, but he's an athlete in space. One, that's going to be perfect in Baltimore, right?
The zone stretch,
kind of skin, the zone stretch. I've heard a lot of Jason Kelce comps with this guy. So I mean, if you drafted Jason Kelce just now, that's an All Pro. So.
And Chris, another. Oh, good. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's all you.
I was just gonna say they're showing the wrestling highlights right now. I talked about that a little bit too. The another trade, man.
Jesus.
Yeah. What is happening?
So the Jets have who? Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson. Yep.
Is this Jermaine Johnson? I think this is Jermaine Johnson.
They had 4 picks inside the top 38, so I'm not shocked to see them move back in. Side the end of round 1.
This is Jermaine Johnson to me.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, people thought they were gonna have to take this guy at 4 today. Like there was some of that going around. Like, remember we talked about that?
Yeah.
That would be.
You asked me that question. You're like, this feels like Jermaine Johnson could go here.
Like how they released the draft grades right after the draft that mean absolutely nothing, honestly. They're gonna get a damn A+ though. I'll tell you that. Them instant grades if they walk away with an edge right here.
Yeah, they will. I mean, we heard their willingness or them expressing their willingness to move up or to add to the skill positions after bringing in guys like, Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker in the last couple of drafts, right? Investing in the offensive line. But to me, man, I wonder what the slide is about Jermaine Johnson here because
could it be medical?
We're going to hear a medical.
Yeah, there's going to be something come out.
Yeah, we'll hear that.
It's going to be just like JOK.
Uh-huh.
And JOK was phenomenal his rookie year.
Yeah, JOK was a stud.
He was as good as I thought. He did everything his rookie year.
You and I were all about him last year.
Hey, Jimmy, I'm jumping on tomorrow. So if you want to jump on with me to react to round 2, yeah. I had that up there as a reminder to tell you that. You want to jump in tomorrow night, jump in.
Man, just seeing A.J. Brown and Green on the ticker, that shit's crazy. That hasn't hit yet. That's going to take a while to hit.
Bad, guys. Yeah, Linderbaum went to Baltimore. But the problem, too, is no matter, like I said, like Chris just pointed out, both of those schemes, if you have somebody with a Jason Kelce comp, that's the captain of your O-line for the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
And he's one of the better center prospects we've seen in the last few drafts.
Yeah. And you got to think Kyle Hamilton has, Pro Bowl, All-Pro potential too. Like, you could be walking away with the
100%.
You walked away from the first round with the 2 best players of their position, probably. That's a hell of a draft.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and just ask this question here. Without looking at the draft trade value chart, what would it take for the Cowboys to get to?
I think the Jets are going edge.
I do too.
Because they thought about Thibodeaux at 5 or 4, excuse me, and the Giants took Thibodeaux at 5. I think the Jets are if I was the Jets, I would go edge because I heard some of them already bitching about not taking an edge.
Likewise.
Let's see.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown is in Arizona now. So
no way they go running back to me. I mean, Michael Carter seems pretty entrenched there, personally.
They went. So the Jets went edge. They went Jermaine Johnson.
Did they really?
It's still
they
unfolding on my
because
screen here.
my buddy, shout out to the Jake Asman show. Jake Asman, who is a diehard Jets fan. Those of you in Houston that follow Jake on the Wheelhouse over there on ESPN Houston, Jake was a little upset. Not upset, like he liked Sauce Gardner, but he did want Kayvon Thibodeaux, so he said, hey, I'd really like to see this team take an edge if we go receiver the next pick, which they did, which was Garrett Wilson. So it made sense for the Jets to come back and get a good edge rusher, especially after the Cowboys passed on one of the edges. Carl is still on the board as well.
That was Daniel Jeremiah's 8th or 9th best player. Jets made out like bank robbers, man. That's crazy. That's a good draft, man.
Either, right?
Yeah. The Howie Roseman disciple, Joe Douglas, he's doing shit over there in New York.
Hey, the Joneses are making phone calls right now to get back in the end of round 1. I guarantee it.
Kaysen, shout out to Kaysen. I met Kaysen last weekend at DKR.
So Tampa just traded out.
Tampa traded out?
Yeah, Jacksonville came back up, it looks like, right?
Yeah.
Kaysen, I hear your frustration in this, especially when you go all caps, brother. I know you mad.
Yep. You big mad.
Brother, I know you're upset. But brother, listen, the one thing, and they've had some misses. We've had the Taco picks before. We've had in the second round, the Tristan Hill picks when we wanted, Taylor Rapp and, Juan Thornhill. I get it. But for the most part, this is the area where they do typically succeed. And yes, Smith holds like no other. I'm with you, brother. But there are people in the building, and this is the name I heard thrown around for some people that don't remember this great Cowboys offensive lineman. There are some people that think he's the next Eric Williams. Eric Williams was a legendary offensive lineman for the 90s. In the 90s.
Yep.
And there are some people that think that Tyler Smith has that capability or potential. So we'll see. I don't love the pick. I'm right there with you. I don't love the pick, but I'm not over here banging my table upset about it either.
Yeah, same here. I'm in that exact same light.
I cannot believe this guy dealt with 26.
Okay, so
who, Jermaine?
Yeah,
same here.
I completely forgot Rich Eisen's a Jets fan, so he's like,
he's
Eisen's on cloud 9 right now.
Mm-hmm. This is crazy, guys. I'm going to say it again. The Cowboys traded up for Travis Frederick, right? Back into the 31st pick. Am I wrong on that, Steve?
I thought he was a middle of the first rounder, was he not?
Travis Frederick was picked 31.
Zach Martin was.
Wow.
I'll have to let me look at where Travis was picked.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 31. You're right.
Yeah,
he was 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did. We traded back, right?
They traded. So they had. Let me double check, y'all. I'm almost.
Well, I thought didn't they trade? Because I thought we were picking the middle, and I remember wanting Eric Reed, and I think we traded back.
Travis Frederick was their first pick.
I want to say we traded back and then traded back into the end of round 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what my gut says, but I don't remember.
Terrence Williams, there's a name you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, we went Travis Frederick, and then we went Gavin Escobar.
Yeah, and then Terrence Williams.
So the Cowboys own picks 56 and 88, and then pick 110.
Self Solutions, I'm going to answer your question since you're here, and we are at NFC East little group here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting Thibodeaux and Evan Neal is phenomenal. Here's my opinion on Thibodeaux. Because he was the number 1 player coming out of high school. He was playing up to his potential. This past year, I think what happened to him, this is my personal opinion. I think 2 things happened with Kayvon Thibodeaux in particular. I think number 1, he got hit with the whole, his head is in all these other things bullshit like Justin
Which is
Herbert
stupid to me, by the way.
Where it's like, does he love football? Right? Like nothing really pointing to the tape. It was
pretending a guy can't have outside interest is weirdo behavior, Steve.
But that's what they did with Justin Herbert when he decided. Yeah. Because people got mad at Justin Herbert for coming back to school during the Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, rest in peace draft. So Justin Herbert doesn't enter. Then people like Daniel Jones get boosted up. And then people are like, well, does Justin Herbert love football? Oh, he's 4.0. Oh, he's kind of weird. And then he kind of fell. He falls behind the Dolphins, right? I think the other thing with Thibodeaux was that broadcast that he was on the national championship game. You cannot convince me otherwise. When he was talking shit about the Alabama offensive lineman and how he was bodying up Evan Neal, who ironically enough got drafted with it. But when he was talking about bodying up Evan Neal at all the camps, when they came out of high school, and how he could have played at Alabama if he wanted to, but he chose to get an education. He chose to go to a school that prioritized other things other than just football. Yeah. I think that turned people off. Me personally.
For sure. People want you to live and breathe football nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is funny because it's going quite the opposite direction, I feel like.
Well, just look at what – I mean, the NIL in college football right now.
It's a player empowerment era. Yeah, it's a player empowerment era. It's a lot different.
Don't tell me a guy can't have outside interest. Are you kidding me? Like, I said this to you, Chris. I mean, just it's context for the whole situation. Like, if that's your question mark, like to say that if I'm good enough to be a big leaguer, a team won't sign me because I have a YouTube channel, like that's the kind of the same thought process. Like, are we?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Myles Garrett's weird as hell too.
Yeah.
You don't think I'd take him on my team any day of the weekend? Like I was telling Landon this earlier, Steve. Like to me, if you want to question their effort play to play, that's a completely fair criticism and knock. But don't mix that with a lack of interest in football. The two to me are not related.
I agree.
Right.
So you got to be able to diagnose and split that up.
Snaps off.
Right.
That's where we can have a conversation.
Yeah, that's where we can have a convo. So, like, that stuff on Kayvon Thibodeaux was probably warranted, right? Like, I remember at the Combine, Daniel Jeremiah being pretty distraught as he can be. You know, they keep it very polite and cordial on national TV, but Kayvon Thibodeaux told everybody that he was going to do a full workout. Yep. He's like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm coming out and doing everything. And the guy ran the 40 and put his bag on, didn't tell anybody anything, and packed it up. And when they asked him why, he said, well, I want to do the linebacker drills and the DN drills at my pro day. I want to be able to do both drills. And Daniel Jeremiah said, you can do both of those here. What's stopping you from doing them here? So a lot of teams got turned off, right? When you're already on shaky ground and people are questioning your effort, that's fair, right? Like outside interest to me is a completely different line.
No question. That's where the ultimate Kayvon Thibodeaux slide talk began. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then they start to add in the all the other stuff, and it starts to kind of snowball. But we saw that wasn't ultimately really that much of a factor.
And like at the end of the day, Derek Stingley went 3 and Thibodeaux went 5 with all their question marks. Like talent trumps all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Jamar Chase.
Right.
Michael Parsons.
Yep.
Rashawn Slater.
Right.
Yep.
everybody was like, "Oh, they opted out. They opted out.
They don't love football." Yeah, all this.
Football.
Yeah,
using COVID as an excuse.
Right.
Devin Lloyd, linebacker number 2 off the board. Nakobe Dean still stands.
So where's Devin Lloyd going?
Jacksonville.
He is a Jag. So they stack up a couple.
So they got
supremely upside,
and
upside defensive players.
I'm hoping Philly walks away with Christian Harris round 2. We walk out of there with them. I already feel kind of home runish, but Green Bay, man. Who did Green Bay take?
Green Bay here.
They took a linebacker. They took Quay Walker.
Oh, Quay Walker.
Yeah.
Green Bay seems to love tools, right?
Didn't receiver in eons.
Oh,
in the first round.
Green Bay loves
They're
toolsy,
man.
Because they took Eric Stokes last year, I think, too. Another toolsy corner. Yeah, they seem to love dudes with traits.
This could be could this pick here be George Pickens? Surely they're taking a receiver. I could see Sky Moore being the pick too. He's got to be in play.
I could see Sky Moore being the pick. George Pickens.
But he's like that smaller guy that, the Packers seem to kind of favor the bigger bodied receiver.
You're right.
So I don't know.
Especially with New England and KC on your heels, you got to think one of these 3 walks out of here with a wideout.
Yeah. But then again, Sky Moore to me is what's Amari Rogers' height and weight? I know he obviously didn't pan out. Really.
Not big.
He's not a bigger guy.
I think he's like 5'10", 205 or something. I don't know.
Sky Moore, though, man.
I think right now, because especially there's already been 6 receivers off the board.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think Green Bay has to either go Sky Moore or George Pickens.
That's what it seems like to me. Is there another receiver that we are not thinking about right now?
Not in the first round range.
I would say Christian Watson is the only other one. If somebody wants to fall in love with 6'4", 212, who ran really well at the Senior Bowl, he showed some guys he could run routes.
I think he's going to go round 2.
Chris, something there.
For sure, I'm just saying that's a toolsy dude. Up there if you're wanting that 5th-year option, I could see somebody taking a chance there.
It could be here.
Yep. I did also want to say to
Green
Case too, man.
We want the measurables.
Yeah.
Devontae Wyatt's still on the board.
Yeah, he is still on the board.
Yep.
So Minnesota traded all the way back to 32 from 12? Is that right? Oh yeah, because Detroit came all the way up from 32 to 12.
They traded up 20 spots. Yeah.
What did they end up giving up? I never saw the comp on that.
I think I wrote it down. No, I didn't actually. I didn't write it down because the Philly trade happened and we got distracted. That's why. Right after that. Yeah.
So my question is, I would not
quarterback off the board so far.
I was about to say I would not be shocked if Tennessee trades into the first round. Maybe take Malik Willis, get that 5th year.
Try to think about life after Ryan Tannehill.
Yep.
Karlaftis is still on the board too. So is Ebiketie from Penn State, who I really like.
Speaking of Penn State, Jaquan Brisker, he could. I wouldn't mind walking away with Jaquan Brisker round 2.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Another one though is Dax Hill, who I've seen on people's big boards. They're top 50, 150. He's in the teens right now, from what I've seen. Very versatile. Yeah, you can play the slot. Yeah, you can play the slot. Play free.
Well, guys, we got to see the whole draft before we can say Will McClay's stock is plummeting like that.
You know what? Now that I'm looking at the board, Dax Hill is going to be a New England Patriot. I was talking about Trent McDuffie's a perfect Patriot. Dax Hill seems like
that's the prototype for
the prototype Patriot.
Belichick. Yeah, man. It seems like that makes a ton of sense. Also, so to disband it in case, and I just wanted to say, just our reaction obviously we weren't pure jubilation on this channel, but the Cowboys have more Pro Bowlers in their last 10 drafts than any other team in football in the first round. So trust the process, man. We don't know. We can't predict the future. Obviously, Tyler Smith was unexpected based on how the board fell. if we want to add a little bit of glass half full perspective in there, that would be it for me. Just trust Will McClay, because since he took over in 2014, the Cowboys have been one of the better drafting teams in football. So I'll leave it at that.
It's funny. Fans like to harp on the negatives.
Yeah.
Philly fans are going to be bitching at Howie Roseman for Jalen Reagor till the end of time, man. Like,
yeah.
The problem, Chris, is that clip of Minnesota laughing.
Yes. Yep. That's forever going to be engraved in my brain. I know that much. Yeah. I ain't letting that one go, man.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough when you got teams laughing at you.
Yeah.
They were laughing.
That one was just shocking to me.
They're
because
not taking Justin Jefferson?
Right. It fit it was similar to Jordan Davis. Like, you had not seen a player more mocked to the Eagles. And then when he actually gets there, you're like, okay, like, this is it. He's ours. Like, put it in pen. And then Reagor comes out of nowhere. But, it's a lot like Dallas and Taco, maybe. Like, you learn. You learn where your mistakes are made in the evaluation process, and then you adjust, and you go from there. Jerry bodying Taco the other day was funny as hell, by the way. I thought that was hilarious.
Funny. I love that clip.
Tyler does have a lot of upside. I'm not like, if we had taken him in the second round, I think we're very excited.
Right.
That's the thing. Context matters. If he's the pick, it's what pick do we have landed in the second round?
56 and then 88 in round 3. Yeah.
So if he's pick number 56, we're thrilled.
No doubt.
With what was on the board, it makes you go, a little bit. Now, if he comes in there and they clean some things up and he develops, if he can develop as quickly as, say, Terrence Steele did, then let's rock.
Yeah.
Let's rock, because he's got the size and the athleticism.
Honestly, even if it takes a little longer, like, Jordan Mailata was a healthy scratch for 2 years. You know what I mean? And now it's like, the guy's 24 years. We have a franchise left tackle. We're going to basically passing the torch from Jason Peters and Mailata. Like, you will wait 2 years if it means you get to lock in a left tackle for 12 years. You know what I'm saying? For the next 8 to 12 years of your franchise.
What was he a 7th rounder?
Never played football in his life. Didn't even know how to strap on a helmet. That story's crazy.
But Chris, that makes up for the Andre Dillard thing.
Exactly. And to your point, like, if we would have taken Tyler Smith in the second, like you said, you feel a lot better about it. Now, when you look back years from now, right, or even a couple years from now, obviously you'd like to hit on your first rounder, right? That's a lot of resources you're putting into that, but it doesn't always go that way. So, to your point, maybe you miss on a 3, but you hit on a 1. Maybe you miss on the 1, but you hit on the 3. It's all. That's why the more darts you have, the draft's not a perfect science, right? Or else they'd all be good at this shit.
The Packers took Devontae Wyatt. So the first round streak continues for the Packers. Landon, you're muted.
Yeah. I was talking to Kay. Sorry, I was listening to y'all.
Oh, you're good. Tell her I said hello, please.
Steve says hi, Case.
What's up, Case?
Chris, too. She said hi.
Hi. She grilling you or what?
No, she was actually asking me about the pick. She said she was the one that said this was quite different from your CeeDee Lamb reaction.
Michael
I said, my 2 words are hopeful, but
time out, brother. Lay off the bottle or whatever you're drinking right now, man. Relax. All right.
Michael's a closet Eagles fan, man. He's just trying to get a reaction out of you guys.
Michael, the Spurs are fine, brother. Brother, we can't win forever. All right.
Yeah.
We can't, like Jimmy said, you can't win forever.
The dynasty days don't last forever, Steve. Ask any Cowboys fan. They know this.
Come on. We got $30 million in cap space and 3 first-round picks coming up in the NBA draft, man. Relax.
Yep.
By the way, the Spurs were supposed to have about 20 wins. They went ahead and made the play-in anyway.
Yeah.
And who knows how the lottery falls. So, Michael.
With today's lottery, you never know.
Now, all right. He said.
Yeah, his tape.
No, you're right. You're right about his
You're not going to be wowed by his tape. That's a fact.
No.
That's a fact. He is an athletic super ceiling project. That's what he is. He's raw, but he's a freak athlete. He played tight end in college or in high school. So
to me, I personally would probably be pretty upset given what Linderbaum, no guy is a guarantee, right? But I probably would have felt a lot better knowing I'm getting one of the better center prospects in the last however many years. And then you can go and plug away at that maybe next year.
Agreed.
I don't know. They clearly believe in his tools and how well they can develop. And they might even think that, and rightfully so, that Tyron Smith ain't playing 17 games.
No, that I know they think that.
Right. So, but again, that just your needs. To me, I would have felt a lot better taking Linderbaum than forcing a left tackle. But
I was all for the Linderbaum pick. I just didn't see this panning out. I mean, Tyler Smith never crossed my mind. It just never.
The other thing, Landon, Biotish is what Biotish is. He's an average to below average NFL center, starting center. He's like
right, and next to a blank spot with the guy to his left. I mean, that scares me a little bit. That's why I have some trepidation there. If I had Travis Frederick still leading that unit, you plug an athlete like Tyler Smith in that left guard for a year and then have him as your future left tackle. I'm pumped.
Good point.
So you guys think he's your starting left guard day one next year, week one?
No, he better be.
He's got to be.
They don't have they don't like. There's literally nobody else.
Yeah, there's nobody on the depth chart.
Now, don't keep in mind, guys. This is another thing too. Stephen Jones, and I made a video about this because this shit's important.
You did. Please pump this.
The Cowboys are going to get active in free agency after the draft. Okay, and the reason that's important,
Mr. Comp pick,
is because the comp pick formula stops. Right now, we have probably a third-round pick coming next year for Randy Gregory. If you sign a free agent to a contract similar to what he garnered, right now that cancels out. Okay, so they're going to get busy in free agency post-draft. Free agency is not over just because the draft happens. We need to understand that. So, yeah, the depth chart could very well change on Monday.
And there's some guys out there, even at receiver. I mean, Jarvis Landry's still out there. There's guys out there.
Yeah.
I agree. Is there a starting left guard out there in free agency? I don't know. I got to look at.
Chris, did J.C. Treader get signed? I don't remember.
I don't think I've seen anything on him.
I don't either. Also, I need somebody in the chat to tell me what the compensation for the Vikings was to move back from 12 to 32, because I want to know if they got a bunch of darts on day 2, if they'd be willing to also collect a couple more from the Cowboys, and the Cowboys jump back in round 1 and take Kobe Dean here.
Good question.
So the Vikings got picks 32, 34, and 66 in exchange for 12 and 46.
Okay. So, I see them right there on the board now too. So they got the second pick tomorrow. They got the last pick today. Yeah, I don't think they move now. They probably.
I think that's a great trade for Minnesota.
I do too.
Because so many of these prospects, this draft is weird because there's probably like 60 dudes that are that far apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so the top end talent fell off quick for a lot of people.
And we know they were in the cornerback market, the corner. So, and then the corner goes off the board 3-4, their top 2 choices. I would like to imagine. So they're like, okay, yeah, we'll start taking some phone calls, man.
I was a bit surprised with Kyle Hamilton still there that they still moved back. But
Nick V, did they count Jermaine Johnson towards UGA's record or no?
That's a good question.
Because they be getting funny with stuff like that sometimes, if you know what I mean. Let me know in the comments. Did they count Jermaine Johnson towards the Georgia first-round picks?
Surely not, Steve. Unless he's way ahead and the Chiefs just took George Pickens, then.
No,
surely
the
not.
Chiefs just. Hold on. Who just picked? Who was 29? Oh, the Patriots took Cole Strange.
Yeah.
They don't have Dante Scarnecchia anymore, right? He called it quits.
I think he retired last year, the year before.
Right.
Great offensive line mind.
I was about to say this guy will turn into an all-pro if he's still there, but no.
Right. If Scarnecchia is there,
right? Like you don't mess with Scarnecchia and Jeff Stoutland. They're gonna turn anything into gold.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be heavy depressed the day that Jeff Stoutland hangs him up. So he's doing the Lord's work in Philly.
What are the Chiefs doing here?
This got to be a receiver, no? Because they didn't take one and with their first.
Yeah, they went McDuffie.
They traded up to 21 for McDuffie, and but they also people are we discounting Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, we're forgetting they got a couple guys.
I think they really think highly of him. Like they expect him.
Who else did they get? I thought they got another.
Is that Stanthew?
Ooh, they drafted
it was.
The Chiefs did. So we got 2 more picks.
Karlaftis, huh? Okay.
All right, so did we figure out if Jason Shredder is still
don't sleep on New England sometimes. My man from Chattanooga. Yo, the Broncos drafted somebody from D3 last year. Quinn Merhurst.
Myers,
Myers, and that dude got in the league and started throwing people at the end of the last season, bro.
Man was throwing people.
Gotta ask the Philly guy if the Carson Wentz saga still stings. No, it doesn't. It is what it is, man. Landon can attest. I have spent an unhealthy amount of probably weeks and months. Yeah, we'd be here till round 7 is over if I get on this topic and start rolling. But short answer is no, it doesn't. It kind of ran its course, man. It's unfortunate what happened, I think.
In a roundabout way, you're thankful for that right now because you got compensation that turned into a first-round pick this year, which helped you get the 2 players that you have today.
So basically what Howie Roseman did is he traded Carson Wentz for A.J. Brown. That's kind of what took place.
Yep.
Now, I know technically we used the 3 from the Wentz deal to trade up with you guys last year to jump New York.
Yeah.
So essentially,
who we drafted
you can call it Howie Roseman trading Carson Wentz for Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown in a sense. Maybe not so much fully Devontae Smith, but the 3rd helped us jump the Giants to get Devontae. And then we just traded a 1st and a 3rd today for A.J. Brown. So, yeah, short answer is no, man. It doesn't sting. It just ran its course. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'll be here all day talking about it again. So
yeah. It's still what was the word that you used the other day when I had to borrow your login for The Athletic and your password? You said something that was just funny. It was just so real. Like I felt it. I felt your emotion through the text that you sent.
I think I said I'm still in mourning or something like that. Just joking around. Still grieving or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll always have that connection to him, man, just because of, he's an MVP candidate leading a team that ended up winning a Super Bowl before he gets injured, So that's like, and then there's a statue of the guy that replaced him outside of the link. And, it's crazy how quickly that unraveled.
Yep. I feel like he became a punching line on Twitter through no fault of his own because his backup was good enough to win a Super Bowl. The whole thing is really unfortunate, man. I would say, Michael Martin, if you're a Cowboys fan, all my buddies, especially Landon, I know how attached you guys are to Dak. Just think of if that exact scenario played out with Dak. That's how it would feel.
Yeah.
You get attached to these 23, 24-year-olds coming up through your program.
Yeah.
This guy's on nobody's radar. It becomes a 2nd overall pick, like little North Dakota State kid. Yeah. He's a God-fearing man, like, heavy religion. He's a nice dude by all accounts. Like, and I just,
he's a guy you want to root for.
Like he's a easy guy to root for. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Injuries happen, man.
That's Steve and I can definitely relate to that, what you said about Dak Prescott. But there's still a large percentage of this fan base that I have to, I'm fighting off about my guy Rain Dakota.
It's almost like we're living behind enemy lines here in our own area.
It's the own fans that can be the worst, man.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Bro, if you're a Chicago Bears fan, what would you do for a Dak Prescott, bro?
Oh God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like some of these organizations have never had good quarterback play their whole life.
Yeah.
But we talk about somebody because the Cowboys have gotten lucky twice with Romo undrafted.
Dak, 4th round
And
pick.
these knuckleheads wanted to draft Paxton Lynch. These knuckleheads wanted to draft Connor Cook.
Yep.
Right. Got lucky.
Yep. And by knuckleheads, yeah, you mean half the fan base still banging the Dak sucks drum, and then the guy who's leading your organization, right? Jerry was he was
Jimmy's
the one.
Right. We did the same thing with Romo.
Yeah.
And honestly, until we win, like, you know,
I was about to say, yeah.
Until it's the NFC comp, whatever it is, or Super Bowl, whatever, people are going to continue to talk trash.
Yep.
Because look, the reality situation is Jared Goff made it to a Super Bowl. Still got traded.
Yep. Joe Flacco
Jimmy
won
G. Joe Flacco.
Jimmy G's been to 2 NFC championship games.
Nick Foles
won a Super Bowl as a backup.
My boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at, to your point, like, look at the discourse on Lamar Jackson. Guy's a 25-year-old MVP, and people are already, they can't win the big game. His style's not.
They don't even want to pay him.
Yeah, they don't want to pay Lamar Jackson. I'm like, okay. My question to them is always, if not him, then what?
Exactly.
You got guys talking about
what is your next best alternative? Tell me. Right
guys, trust me. Tyler Huntley can do a lot of the same stuff. I've seen enough tape on him to know. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
Yeah. And to Jim's point, scheme does matter. 100%. That's a factor.
Yeah, this Cowboys scheme is not the greatest right now.
That's questionable with Kellen Moore, man. Again,
bro. If you know what game I went back and watched, to Jimmy's point.
The
Tampa Bay game.
Oh, bro.
What happened to that offense?
That was masterful.
That was decades ago, man.
Tampa Bay game, we had an answer for everything. Now, granted, Tampa Bay secondary got crazy banged up.
Yep.
I'm not discounting that. They had people I'd never heard of in there playing corner. But in terms of every wrinkle that Tampa Bay threw at Dallas, schematically, we had an answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
We seem to be ahead, right? And week one, and then to
Dak
regress
50 plus times on a sore shoulder too, which is also crazy.
The numbers took a major dip, coincidentally or not, after Dak's calf.
That's the line of delineation, but we don't know why.
Right?
Is it the calf? Is it Kellen Moore protecting it himself? Did the offensive line crumble under Joe Philbin? Are we force feeding a guy that can't tote the rock on a torn PCL? What do we point the finger to here?
And we as fans like to pin it to one thing. It's always a combination of everything you just mentioned. So it's like, I know we get caught in this like hot take era where we got to pin down one reason. Oh, Dak just doesn't look right. You know how many things go into running one successful play in an NFL game?
Yeah.
Like
there's 11 moving parts and then 10 people in the booth.
Most team-oriented sport in the world. Yeah. It's just like,
yeah.
Hey,
so much more than what you think
are
it is.
you a Commanders fan?
You want to be on the show?
I apologize if so, buddy.
Oh, no, I'm not even trying to cook you, man. I'm just asking. No, because I wanted to get your opinion on the draft. I'm sorry, brother. I apologize. Or sister, I apologize. Are you a Commanders fan? Sweet Home Bama 22? This is a safe space. I'm just asking because I'm from DC. I grew up there.
Wow.
And the worst thing that's ever happened to y'all, and I thought Jack Kent Cook was bad. And they exposed Jack Kent Cook on Winning Time on the HBO series about the Lakers. But I thought he was a bad owner.
Great show.
Daniel Snyder's the worst.
Yeah, that's a
Daniel
fact.
Snyder's the gun beneath the park bench, man. So
Jackson Hill.
Hey, by the way, respect to that pick, Chris. They franchise tagged Jesse Bates, so that's a plan. They're planning ahead for next year, right? They'll have essentially now a rental on Jesse Bates for one more year if he bets on himself, and because he signed the tag, right? They placed the tag on him, but he did sign it too. So bet on himself.
Picking? So is Malik Willis gonna fall out of the first
man?
round?
We've only seen one quarterback go.
One quarterback.
And that was Kenny Pickett staying home in Pittsburgh. Okay, so who are the Vikings taking?
Hey, can we Kirk Cousins, did he get a little mini extension?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
About to say, could we see Malik right here? But probably
one of the best agents in the game.
Yeah, no kidding. Business Hall of Fame right there.
That bread like Kirk.
Business Hall of Fame, man. I got a 3-year, $84 million fully guaranteed bag, and then nobody else got fully guaranteed after that. Just stopped and started with Kirk.
So, oh yeah, this could be a Nakobe Dean pick here. I would love to go to bed tonight knowing there's still somehow, some way, a possibility that the Cowboys could still add Nakobe Dean, but I don't know if that's going to be the case after this pick.
Likewise, I'm trying to leave round 2 with a linebacker. I'd probably like Jaquan Brisker or Christian Harris as an Eagles fan. That's who I want to walk out of tomorrow with.
Oh, I have 153 messages right now. I'm scared to look.
I know you're an Eagles fan, and congratulations on the trade. This is one of the challenges I have with the Cowboys. We're not shrewd like this. You don't have to know somebody's available. You call and you ask.
Right.
And you give people offers.
Right.
You do your due diligence.
Sometimes people are not available, but it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, worst they can do is say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're right. Nobody had A.J. Brown. Did y'all hear any smoke about A.J. Brown?
Not one. Not one.
I heard smoke about Thibodeaux.
Yeah.
No, there was no. There was, A.J. Brown wants to get paid, but there was no a trade's imminent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That Debo ship sailed too when the Jets took Garrett Wilson. So I don't see anybody else.
Right.
I agree. They should have stayed Washington football team.
Yeah, I heard the name Red Wolves too. This is completely irrelevant, but I was actually a fan of that name for some reason. I don't know why I liked it.
That's actually what the fans selected, Landon, in the area. That was the heavy favorite. The problem was they couldn't get the rights or somebody owns the name or something like that, and it would have cost like $1 billion or multiple $1 billion. Like, I'm dead ass serious. Like, to the point, like, they actually had everything worked up to go to Red Wolves, and they could not get the business logistics figured out, and so they had to pivot.
Okay,
but that was actually
I didn't know that. That's interesting. That would have been a nice name. I also heard I don't know. There was a couple that I thought would have been.
Forgot Jordan Hicks was on the Vikings now.
Mm-hmm. Did we ever figure out if J.C. Treader is available?
Or Jim, are you saying how do we know they didn't call?
Treader is available.
That's a good point. How do you know they didn't call?
Is he talking about A.J. Brown?
Yeah, I think he's talking about A.J. Brown. That's a good point. That's a fair counterpoint.
Well, the only reason I would say that we know that they didn't call is just because the contract, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen Jones, he's frugal, man. Like, he ain't gonna pay somebody. I don't know. They already did that once with Amari Cooper. They've been down that road.
Again, I'm shocked how we did it.
A first and then paying him an extension, right? That was a huge question mark when that trade went down. They're like, first of all, this guy sucks. He stinks in LA, but you're going to trade a first round pick and then pay him, and that turned out to be an okay deal. Then he signs for a $100 million extension. You pay him the 40 guaranteed on the first 2 years, and then you cut him. So it's like no harm, no foul, but you trade him for what ultimately should have amounted to much more than a 5th round pick. That's a whole different discussion. But I don't know, man. I just know how Stephen Jones thinks. I can't say they would have entertained that A.J. Brown deal, but who am I to say? I don't know.
Yeah, give me Christian Harris, man.
Whew.
Yeah, again, I'm shocked how we did that, man. Just
last pick of the first round.
We haven't paid a receiver in a long time.
I agree, Jim.
So after this pick, I want to just go quick round table, and then we can hop off.
Yeah. Ooh, I love the scene, boy.
Yeah, he's just, Georgia showed out tonight.
Georgia, man.
Yeah, George Pickens still on the board too, right?
They had all them dudes go in the first round, and Nakobe Dean,
maybe the winner.
The signal caller, the captain, did not go in the first round, but all these Georgia boys did. That's wild.
I
have a question for y'all.
What's up?
Because this has been a topic of conversation on NFL Live the last few days. Do the Georgia guys individually lose value because they were so good as a collective? Because I think some people have looked back at the Clemson defense from a few years ago, and some of those guys have struggled a lot.
Like Dexter Lawrence and people like that.
But exactly. And old boy that went to the Raiders.
Cleveland Farrell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. But together they were like this super team.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was saying, there was a lot of discussion on NFL Live, Marcus Spears and Mina Kimes and all of them about, well, are they just good because the guy next to him they know that guy is going to execute his assignment? Yeah, nobody ever had to do anything outside of their wheelhouse. Like, if I'm the Mike, I just play Mike. I don't have to go over here and cover up for Quay Walker or cover up here for Channing Tindall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's a good question.
Where do you guys fall in that camp?
I'll let you take that one first, Chris, if you want it. I actually don't really have a strong opinion towards either direction. So
just looking at them all right now, that's crazy. Real quick, their best defensive player is not even draft eligible yet. Apparently, this Jalen Carter dude on that D line is.
That was going to be my next point. Was Jalen Carter might be the best of all of them.
There.
Yeah, he can't even come out.
Ely Ringo's still there. They still got dogs over there. No pun intended.
Nah, that's a fair question, man. I think it's interesting, right? Like, you go back and look at the LSU offense, right? And like them in particular, save for maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who hasn't quite turned into what we thought he was. They were all excellent in college. They were all excellent together. They were excellent individually, and now they're, you look around, they're basically all pros or future all pros everywhere.
Yep.
But I think
the same thing on the defensive side too, right?
Yeah, they had a guy get drafted at every position, if I'm not mistaken.
Every level.
Yeah, every level of the defense.
Yeah.
But I think maybe quarterbacks and receivers. As a receiver, you're not asked to work with a unit like you are on a defense or a front seven. So individually, you kind of are. You're going to be what you are. Now, good quarterback play can obviously help you produce, right? But you're kind of on your own. I do think there's a component to that with how much you have to play off of each other, to your point on defense, because
it's gap assignment, right?
Right. And it's like they're all, if you line up, and this is what cracks me up. Like, we used to ask these questions. Could Alabama beat Jacksonville?
No. Hell no. Hell no. And I can
look at what happens when you throw a professional on a college defense. You got it. Georgia last year, like, you got it. They don't have to be the elite of the elite as pros. Them simply being professional level together collectively is going to make them all stand out more. So I think it's a fair question, man. I think that's kind of what makes it hard to evaluate, right? But you can also take the approach, and not to fence right here, but can they do more than they were asked to do? Can they be even better than we allowed them to be, right? Like Jordan Davis, he was simply used as a kind of a two-gap, eat the blocks, and let the speed, Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker and Channing Tindall and all those dudes fly downhill and make
And they would even kick Trayvon Walker inside on passing downs and take Jordan Davis off the field.
So Kirby Smart came on, and that was his argument about, hey, Trayvon Walker, like, we were asking him to do things in a certain manner.
Right.
That's why
whereas at Michigan, he would have been asked to hunt.
Yeah. Yep.
Straight up.
That's why
we're not asking him to do that because we don't need him to do that. Because my defense, I can rotate, I can keep him fresh. I can
keep it fresh.
Mm-hmm. I can do so many cool things because I got killers all over the place.
Right.
Whereas if he's at another school, his numbers are going to be much higher. So, something to be very, very interested. And I think it was Dan Orlovsky. His counter to that was the Miami Hurricanes in the early 2000s.
I was going to bring up Miami. Yeah.
Because he was like, well, when I saw Miami play, they all had killers at every position too, and those guys did translate well.
They were all studs.
Right?
Bama's had some defenses too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just to real quick to spin off Chris's thing about, like, could the best Alabama teams beat the worst NFL teams, like the Jags or whatever? Here's the way that you have to look at it. Even on the best – take Georgia, for example, this year, right? It's the most recent context. They just had a record year in terms of first-round players drafted. Now, this Georgia team is probably going to have 10 guys that turn out to be NFL players, right? 10 to 15, anywhere in there. Let's be generous and say 15 guys from this Georgia roster are going to end up on an NFL roster and have a role. That's still not 53. Right? There's 53 men
so
on an
professionals,
NFL
man.
roster that are actual NFL caliber football players. At best, there's only 12 to 15, and that's generous, best case possible scenario. So you're still outnumbered 4-1.
No disrespect, but you're not beating Jacksonville with Stetson Bennett the fourth.
Yeah,
No disrespect.
Josh Allen's finishing that day with 8 sacks.
That's a better way to sum it up, I'd say.
Yeah. I kind of would have liked to see maybe current Atlanta Falcons defense versus LSU offense. That'd be kind of fun. But
that would be.
Even still, like I said, they're all professionals, man.
Yeah, 53 of them. No college.
But no, to your point, Steve, that's what makes the draft an impossible science, right? Like we literally today just had a player with 9.5 career sacks go number 1 overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're banking strictly on what he can grow into. Tyler Smith, the first rounder for Dallas, the guy doesn't really have great tape, but it's what can he turn into. Yep. So you're always walking that fine line between traits and production. And then the hardest part to gauge out of everything is what's in between here. Because if you ain't got it there, you don't have a chance, man. That's where it all starts. That's what makes the draft an impossible science. You're never going to be able to figure out, is this guy coachable? Can this guy be taught a rip move? Does he want to get better? Is he cool taking his first contract and kind of hanging him up, a la Trent Richardson, and just kind of coasting?
Yep.
You just never really know.
Chris, that might be the most important thing anyone could possibly take away from a draft discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Because if they don't have it here and right here, they don't have a chance ultimately.
And you can't measure that. You can take a Wonderlic test all you want and see what a guy scores, but thinking under pressure is different than how you're wired internally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Our two quarterbacks, different tiers, right? But same mental makeup in my eyes. Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts.
And that's ultimately your proof. I mean, you are
right. Like getting back to Carson Wentz.
On Rain Dakota Prescott. Yeah.
Look at how much Carson Wentz unraveled when they took a quarterback in the second round to protect themselves against injuries. The guy didn't have it up here. Now Jalen Hurts has been in discussions. We've been talking about replacing him for a full 2 years since the day he stepped foot on the field. And he's done nothing but go about his business and improve every single year since a freshman in college.
Yep.
That's the stuff that you cannot. It's
and
way harder to measure.
Now you're paying a weapon. You're paying for him to have a weapon.
Yes.
So that tells me they're thinking more along the lines of, we see a future with this guy.
They believe in him, and they're going to give him every chance to be successful. Right? They don't want to. They don't want to leave any stone unturned.
Yeah.
And again, he's going to be under the microscope this year. Everybody, right? We've been talking about, Philly traded for an additional one next year with the Saints, right? We got the C.J. Stroud and the Bryce Young draft, right? Jalen Hurts is on the clock again. He's going to have to prove it again.
Yeah, he will.
And if you're weak mentally, this is when those guys bow out. Mm-hmm. If you get a guy who's right between the ears and knows how to handle adversity and criticism, that's where you make your money, man. So it's for sure the hardest part of the draft.
If and also to that too, and this will be probably the last compliment I give Philly tonight. If Jalen Hurts doesn't end up panning out, it won't be because of him bowing out mentally. I'll just say that.
Right. And
it'll be because he doesn't develop physically and have the ability to, to basically throw to every piece of turf on the field. So they say, you know what I mean?
And as a fan, it's infuriating to feel like they left meat on the bone as an athlete when they're talented. So you're going to be able to rest well as an Eagles fan, knowing that it wasn't because he didn't try. Right. It's not because he didn't want to get better. Right. Just simply put, he wasn't. So
agreed.
It's easy to root for people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who do y'all think of the best draft today?
It's hard to argue with what the Jets were able to do. Where they got Jermaine Johnson says a lot.
I think 3 teams jump out to me right away. The city of New York, the Jets, and the Giants.
Yeah, Giants had a good haul.
I think the Giants did very well considering what they had. And then Baltimore Ravens.
I love the Ravens draft. Yep. I think you got 2 All-Pros.
Who were the Ravens selections again? Refresh me.
Linderbaum and Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Those are nothing. Yeah, that's a good draft, man.
That's a good draft. The Jets ending up with Jermaine Johnson, like the Jets filling needs and talent. So you needed the corner, you needed the edge, you needed the receiver for Zach Wilson. You
didn't force a single thing.
Checked every box.
Yep, no doubt.
There's some people that would have told you George Karlaftis was the 4th best pass rusher in this class too. So the Chiefs believing in Patrick Mahomes' ability to elevate Juju Smith-Schuster and refresh my memory on this, Chris. And Steve.
I kept saying today, I thought they got another guy.
Well, they still have Nicole Hardman
from Georgia a few years ago.
Oh, it's Valdez-Scantling. That's who they signed.
Valdez-Scantling. They still have Nicole Hardman, right?
Yeah, they do.
So that's going to be a real test to see with Mahomes' development. Can you keep the party going?
Yep.
With different faces there. That's one thing where you've seen Tom Brady pass the test of time. Aaron Rodgers pass the test of time. Roethlisberger when he was around. The weapons changed, but the production stayed the same.
For sure.
So that's going to be a test for Patrick. He's young, so this is the first time he has to go through this. But it's going to be interesting. How do y'all feel about Houston? I feel like Houston, the biggest kind of like boom or bust.
Yeah, I thought Kenyon Green was a little surprising. Derek Stingley at 3. I mean, you're sure swinging for the fence right there. I'm okay with the Derek Stingley pick. I think if the medicals check out, you got a stud right there.
Me too. I'm noticing their fan base either loves the pick or hates the pick.
Yeah. I don't mind what Houston did.
I actually called Derek Stingley Jr. my dream draft scenario number 2. So that says all you need to know about that.
Who was number 1 for you?
Jordan Davis.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Landon Jordan already knows. So I saw Jonathan Miller. Was it Jonathan Miller here? Yes. So, Landon, you just said Jordan Davis is your dream scenario. We don't pick those type of people in the first round.
I know that. And my only explanation to that was Dan Quinn's influence. That was all I said. And he was on the pre-draft 30 list.
Well, they didn't pick. Well, he didn't make it. So it didn't come to that scenario, to your point. Maybe it would have happened. We've never seen them do it with the one tech nose.
Nah, you got to go back like 20 some odd years. But again, like I said last night too, to see them even entertain the possibility and bring him in again to take a closer look was a sight for sore eyes. That's all I was saying.
Fair. So Jonathan Miller, though, to while I was marrying the points, the Packers in drafting a receiver in the first round, they just don't like.
Ain't happening, man. Quit asking for it. Ain't happening. We gotta cut that out, man. Yeah. These guys are making a living doing mock drafts, this is finally the year. It ain't happening, man. It's like Philly and linebackers. Just stop doing it. It's not happening.
These teams have rules, guys.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's on the board. Y'all just can't see it, but it's in the war room.
Yeah, it's in the war room.
Also, I will say this too, and then I got to get out of here, boys. I'll let y'all finish.
Me too. I got to eat.
I appreciate y'all. The banter has been a lot of fun, and I've actually learned a lot. I love talking football with you guys. But I did want to mention to the Bengals pick. I like just philosophically speaking, getting ahead of one of your best players on the defensive side of the ball and adding Dax Hill, knowing that you're going to have to pay Jesse Bates again next year if you want to bring him back is good team building to me. So I like that move for the Bengals as well.
Yep, for sure. No doubt, man. It was a fun day, boys. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
man. Thank you guys for coming on. It's the first time we've done a live reaction to pretty much anything like this where we're watching on TV and just following. So it's super, super fun. Everybody in the chat, as you guys are hitting that like button and subscribing, make sure you follow Chris on Twitter, Chris Wilson.
Hell yeah.
23.
You definitely deserve it.
Very knowledgeable football fan. I rarely say that about them birds over in Philly, but
them dirty birds, boy. We got a couple smart ones in the bunch.
Yeah,
just a couple,
respect, man.
Couple rational ones, but not many, man. Let me tell you.
You earn my respect. We definitely want to have. We're definitely going to get Chris back on the channel. I was a little skeptical when Landon said, "Hey, my Eagles fan friend wants to come on."
Yeah,
but
yeah. Hey man, I wouldn't stick my neck out if I wasn't confident it would be worth it.
Yeah. You're thinking this is gonna be one of them flaming jackasses that they make up in Philly.
I love that. This guy,
he goes, I ain't trying to deal with this bullshit today.
I don't know what happened, bro. Connection cut out. We'll pick up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great.
It was fun though, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely. Hey, make sure you guys subscribe to the Lando Show. He's doing great work. You guys have seen him on the Mike Fisher YouTube channel. Landon's very interactive on Twitter and just a rising star, even on TikTok. Go find Landon on TikTok. He's blowing up over there.
That's been fun. I've really enjoyed that platform lately too. It's just kind of some more quick hitting stuff, kind of directed to the point. I enjoy it.
All right. Well, I'll be back tomorrow night myself. I think Jimmy's going to join me just to talk a little bit more. So we'll continue to stream. It's a lot of fun. Everybody have a good night. Let me know in the comments what you think about the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft.